protein in. So then if we look at a vegan diet, there's two things to consider. First of all, the protein quality, which I think you mentioned. So the majority of vegan protein sources do not contain all the essential amino acids that we need to eat to make a complete protein. Therefore, it's really important that vegans mix their sources of proteins. Examples are rice and tofu, beans on toast, oats and seeds. And by mixing those sources of proteins, we'd get amino acid, we'd get a full protein. So that's the number one thing that a vegan needs to consider, that they are getting a variety of different protein sources. Then you moved on, you mentioned the meat alternatives. Now, my concern with these, and what was actually seeing research coming through on at the moment, they're actually extremely processed. And we know there's one thing that one of the main things we need to be aiming for in our diet is to focus on whole foods that are not ultra processed. So the challenge is then, while I would be encouraging vegans to choose the more traditional vegan diet that's based on beans and pulses, nuts and seeds, whole grains for their protein intake, that needs to be a lot more planned. And also it is completely possible, but it is more of a challenge to reach those higher protein intakes just using beans and pulses.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because obviously, like you say, you need a certain amount to maintain that quality of muscle. You need a certain amount of protein, and obviously meat, actual meat, whether it's chicken or lamb, is the best source of protein. And getting enough through other sources can be challenging. So obviously it's wise to particularly if you're thinking of maybe transitioning into a more vegan diet potentially, and especially when it comes to wanting a higher performance. So for your body to, as you say, withstand the stress, whether that's in fitness and sport, whether it's in a work scenario, you need to be getting those sources that are actually going to help create a buffer for you for the added stress and pressure. Would that be, or can you do that through the vegan diet?
You can. So certainly a vegan diet can be complete. Apart from B12, all vegans must substitute with supplement with B12 because that only comes from an animal source. B12 is essential for creating red blood cells in the body that transport oxygen. But there are some benefits of a traditional vegan diet. It tends to be high in antioxidants, which help control inflammation in the body. So there's certainly some benefits, but it is more challenging and does need to be carefully planned. I feel if a person's eating meat or fish with some vegetables and some complex carbohydrates and having variety amongst their meals, they're more likely to tick all the boxes, where a vegan diet needs to, I mentioned the mix of amino acids earlier, but also think a number of the other nutrients, such as some of the other B vitamins and iodine and calcium, those things need to be more carefully planned. And I feel with a vegan diet, while every meal always counts, more so with the vegan diet because there isn't as much buffer to have a meal that's lower in nutritional quality.